Hey guys, welcome back to another GTA Online video. My name is Saintsfan, and today the new San Andreas Mercenaries update released. And in this video, I wanted to go over 10 of the major things that Rockstar changed with this update. There's a lot more than 10, and we'll cover those over the next day or two, but there are some pretty major things Rockstar changed, and I did just want to go over that in this video. Also, as far as the DLC goes, it's really not that good. It's not that good. Oh man, it sucks to say that, but it's really disappointing. I will say the Rockstar logic for this DLC is gonna be epic. I will also later today put out a video going over what you should or shouldn't buy from this DLC, at least at launch here. There's a couple of things you definitely should not waste your money on. So if you are interested in that, then be on the lookout for that in about an hour or two. All right, so the major things Rockstar changed. We will start with the basic things, the things that we kind of knew were coming. The first major change is that the Avenger now has a bunch of new options. So call your Avenger, bring it to your hangar, and inside of your hangar, you can actually see a bunch of these new options. The first one, well, it can actually just be stored inside of your hangar now, which is good. But you can see the upgrades. You have a couple of new ones. The pilot-operated machine guns is one, pilot-operated missiles, a stealth module for the autopilot defense, also a missile lock-on jammer for autopilot defense. You can get a thruster inside of the Avenger, which helps out in a couple of situations. And of course, the big one, you can install the operations terminal, which gives you access to the new missions. I will just go ahead and say it as a little tease. The operations terminal is not worth it. I know that does give you access to the new missions, but you will not be making your money back. Just know that. If you do want to play the new missions and that's all you care about, get it, of course. But if you are short on cash, the operations terminal is a pretty expensive cost, and you only get about $300,000 from doing the missions. So you are not making your money back with this purchase. But those are all the new Avenger options, and it'll definitely make that vehicle a lot more useful in free roam. The next thing that they changed is actually how the hangar and the smuggler run DLC content works. Unfortunately, there is no new hangar space. There's not a new level or anything, so if you did have a full hangar, you might have to sell some aircraft to get the new ones. But once you're inside, they actually updated the business to be a little bit better. So you can actually use this NPC to sort of source cargo for a small fee, much like a couple of the other businesses. You can also apparently, and I don't show this, but you can call Ron in free mode and launch source missions that way. Normally, before this update, many of these missions were air vehicle related. Now they added a land-based option if you wanted to just stick on the land for sourcing stuff, and I'm assuming for selling stuff. And you can see here from the patch notes, there are a couple other things, like you can bypass the setup mission for a small fee. The Mark II workshop is now included, as well as additional weapon pickups around the map or in the hangar. One thing I can't really show you guys, but I'll just show it here on the patch notes. There is a career progress tab on the new consoles that just gives you, a look at sort of how your character is going. So that's kind of a cool update. We'll just quickly go through the rest of the patch notes, the main part of the patch notes. Obviously, there's new vehicles, 7 of them to be precise, but I'll go over more in detail on which ones of these are actually good or not. They are bringing back some of those returning vehicles, like the vehicles they put in only for like a week or two. So if you want to buy them, I don't know how long these are going to remain available, but I guess forever, since it is telling us they're available for general purchase. And then we actually get something that is pretty cool. New cosmetic stuff, of course, new clothing and stuff, but there are 2 hairstyles that were added to the male characters. You can see those here. As well, here is the new female hairstyle. So it's actually a good looking hairstyle for once. I swear Rockstar, for whatever reason, used to not know how to freaking make hairstyles, and this actually looks pretty good. So you might want to give your character a new updated look using some of these new things. Another major change, and this is something with the Acid Lab. I couldn't actually figure out how this works, but here they mention it in the patch notes that you can now unlock and choose from a range of names for your acid product, which will actually increase the sell value. I imagine you just do that inside the Acid Lab, but I don't know. I couldn't figure that out exactly. So if anyone figures this out, then you can let us know in the comments how exactly it works, but you can get an increased value by doing that. And then a couple of the other smaller things, but I think that are pretty major still. In the options menu in your settings, go and find this setting and turn it to hold to sprint. No longer do you have to just spam the A button to sprint. You can just hold it. And that makes things so much nicer. Apparently this also works. I haven't tested it yet, but it also works inside of certain properties where you usually would go slow. You can now just hold A and your guy will actually sprint, like the casino, for instance. So that is a pretty major change. Definitely change that. When you call Moore's Mutual, there's now a claim all feature, which is very, very useful. You don't have to call Moore's Mutual a million different times if you have 1,000 garages. The claim all button will just get everything, but of course you can probably spend a pretty penny if you have a bunch of vehicles in the Moore's Mutual. When you call the mechanic, you can actually hit X on your controller to add a little description to the garages. And this is very useful if you have a bunch of garages like myself and you have different garages that are themed. You can now put a little tag so you specifically know which one, because sometimes you would just forget or you wouldn't remember. And instead of going in and out of the menu, you can just read the tag that you put and boom, it's just a nice quality of life change. One of the new features is the register as a boss option. We thought this would maybe merge the SecuroServe and the MC. That doesn't happen. It's literally just an extra menu button. I don't know why they did this, to be honest with you, but all the register as a boss option does is take you to another menu where you then register as an MC or CEO. So it's basically pointless. A huge change that I'm sure not many people are going to like is that they did nerf the Hydra and the laser cannons. You'll see some gameplay here. It doesn't seem to be that nerfed. Like, it's not unusable, but it definitely is a slower fire rate. I guess it doesn't do as much damage as, like, the explosive bullets don't do as much damage as they once did, but it's still pretty useful. It's just not as overpowered as it once was. Again, I know some people are going to love that. Some people are going to hate that, but they did change those in free roam. And then the last one, the big one, and I can't show it to you guys, but they literally took out 180 something different vehicles from the game. This will be a whole separate video. We'll go through all of the vehicles and how you can get them still if you really wanted to. But yeah, they took out almost 200 vehicles from the game, from the websites. You can no longer get them. This is probably one of the biggest WTFs. I've seen so many people kind of complain about this because that's a lot of vehicles. That's a lot of content they literally are taking out of the game, and who knows when it will come back, if it will ever come back. So those are the major changes that Rockstar made with this update to GTA Online. There's a bunch of other little smaller changes, and again, I'll make a video tomorrow probably going over some of these smaller details that you might have missed or that you might not realize are in this update. We'll also be covering the drip feed probably tomorrow as well, because there is a bunch of drip feed content as usual. But I am actually curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the new DLC. What are your first impressions? If anyone's done the missions, if anyone has checked out the vehicles. I think, in my opinion, the vehicles definitely carry this update. But again, I am curious to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, though. That's going to do it for the video. Please drop it a like if you did enjoy. I'll leave a link to the patch notes in the description if you want to check it out. I mean, there's a bunch of other like fixes and stuff and deathmatch stuff they mentioned, but honestly, I didn't really want to go through all of that. They basically hopefully just made the game run better. So again, thank you guys for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more GTA content, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.